Hey folks, Al Puglisi Trains. Let me end my Creeper series. If you watch my channel, I posted a couple videos on using something called a topside creeper, some creepy videos. This is going to end the creep video series with, what do you do if you don't have a creeper? Let's talk about it. First and foremost, when you design a model railroad, it's a very good idea to make sure you can get access to everything you're doing. And I've made some mistakes along the way on my railroad, the Pugsburg Railroad. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Folks, my town of Cass is a perfect example. It sits from the beginning of the layout, which is where I'm standing in front of the tracks, to the very back of this scene is about 5.5 feet deep. I can't get back there. I can get on a step ladder and I can get about halfway. So what do some people do? Well, some people make access holes. In other words, they cut out a removable hole so you can pop out a building or two and pop out in the middle of the layout. And that's what I should have did back here. I thought to myself, I'm never, ever, ever going to have to get to the very back of Cass to work. But on this big mansion in the back, Slaymaker's house, I believe it's called Slaymaker's house, on that big mansion way in the back, I had to replace the chimneys because the chimneys broke. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether a mouse got back there or what happened, but they broke and I had to replace them. That building does not lift out, which was a mistake. So what did I have to do? Well, I couldn't use a creeper, folks, because when I designed this layout, my aisles are not wide enough to take a creeper. Howard's creeper had like a almost 3-foot wide base. You needed a lot of width to be able to maneuver the legs of the creeper in so that you could tuck them underneath and turn the creeper around to access the top of the layout. I did not design this wide enough for a creeper, so I had to use a grabber. We've all seen these things. This is one of the greatest inventions mankind ever devised. This one's called a pick stick. I'm sure there's a million different ones. It's got an end on it that you can grab stuff with. And you got your handle there. I mean, I'm sure you've used these things, folks. You can grab items. You can release the handle and make the grab range larger. Or you can make the grab range smaller. And obviously, it was made for light bulbs and to reach things that are extremely difficult to get to. Now in this case I had to grab chimneys. Once I painted them and weathered them, glued them with super glue, and literally, and folks, I don't recommend this, but I literally had to mount the chimneys back on that building by using this device and going all the way back and holding the chimneys in place one at a time until the glue set, which was a super glue, or a goo, I should say. You can pull it apart, let it dry, put it back together. But that whole escapade took me nearly 45 minutes just to replace 3 chimneys because the building was so far away. Don't recommend it. Now this is an unfinished section of my layout, but this is a large, it's approximately 16 inches wide by almost 4 feet long. It's going to be a pop-out, and I can actually build whatever I'm going to build up there, make a diorama out of it, and lay it in, and camouflage it, and I'll be able to access it. So that's one version of a pop-out. Now behind these houses here, I couldn't get all the way to the back. So I actually cut a pop-out hole. You can see it here. I'll give you an aerial view. And it's elevated so that the hole is actually about 5 inches below the elevation. So as you're viewing the layout, you don't notice that there's a pop-up hole there big enough for me to get in and work through. Now, you don't have to leave the hole open. You can make a pop-out panel, just like the panel at the top. But in this case, because I've camouflaged the pop-out, I've decided just to leave it open for access sake. Now, underneath the layout, I've cut some arches that are wide enough for me to get under. And when you get under the layout, you can see the bracing underneath for the bench work. And I've overbraced. A lot of us have a tendency to overbrace. I used to have braces that ran across here, but I couldn't get through. So I've opened up enough space between braces as to not weaken the layout, but to be able to give me enough room. Like here, for example, I used to have a brace to run right through the center of this. I didn't need that brace, so I removed it. Now I have enough room to walk through and almost stand up to access the bottom of the layout. Now there's a hidden hole. It's an access hole inside a tunnel so I can get to things. Again, folks, here's the cross bracing on my layout underneath, and obviously I didn't need cross bracing here, so I left a crawlway big enough to be able to get under and to be able to access the inside of a tunnel. This is a larger access hole above my head, and inside the tunnel I can get in there, and God forbid if we have any derailments or anything going on, I can get in there, and many times I've had to get in there. Again, these are access holes underneath the layout so that you can access up and get up inside to be able to access tunnel areas. I'm actually inside one of my pop-up holes. Thought I'd take a shot of the layout that one normally doesn't see. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Folks, I'm actually standing inside the pop-up hole, one of the pop-up holes I was talking about earlier on my layout. Thanks for watching my videos. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. I have super thanks available if you'd like to give us a small donation to help me keep the channel running. Any super thanks donations are greatly appreciated. It helps defray the cost of doing a lot of my channel videos. Soon I'll be offering a membership, and we'll be talking about that in an upcoming episode. But this ends the Jeepers Creepers segment. What do you do if you don't have a creeper? Well, there's a number of different things you can do. Enjoy the hobby, and please hit the subscribe button.